Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Nicole with Made from Scrap, and today I'm going to go through the tutorial for the mini folio number 2. So again, this measures 4 3/4 inches in width by 6.5 inches in height. And it has a seam binding closure here, and it has a 3/4 inch spine. So what I've used for the base is some 3 sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper, and I've cut 2 of those down to 11 by 6.5. The first one is going to be the right side of the folio when you open it up. And what I'm going to show you is we're going to go ahead and score everything together. So with the 11 inches at the top of your scoreboard, you're going to score at 3/4 inch, 5.5, 5 7/8, and 10 3/8. Okay, again, that's 3/4, 5.5, 5 7/8, and 10 3/8. Okay, we're going to set that aside. We're going to do all of the scoring first. The next piece is our B piece with the 11 inches at the top. We're going to score that at 3/4 inch, 5.5, 5 3/4, and then 10 1/4. Again, that's 3/4 inch, 5.5, 5 3/4, and 10 1/4. Okay, set those aside. Our C piece, there's going to be 2 of those. They measure 5 5/8 by 2 inches. These are going to be the pockets. And what we want to do is score at 1/2 inch with the 5 5/8 at the top. And then we want to rotate it a 1/4 turn, score it again at 1/2 inch, rotate it again a 1/4 turn, and score it at 1/2 inch. The reason that we do that instead of measuring a 1/2 inch on both sides is because this is a pretty exact measurement to inside of the folio. So 1/2 inch, clockwise a 1/4 turn, 1/2 inch, clockwise a 1/4 turn, and 1/2 inch. And those are our pockets. Okay, we'll set those aside. D is going to be a belly band piece. So we're going to score that with the 5.5 inches at the top at 1/2 inch. Rotate it all the way around, and again score at 1/2 inch. Okay, set that aside. Our E piece is going to be slide closure number 1, and we're going to put that in with our 3.5 inches at the top and score it at 1/2 inch, and that measures 3.5 by 2. Next piece is our F piece. It's the other slide closure. We call this number 2. So that measures 3 by 2, and with the 3 inches at the top, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Next is our G piece that measures 5 inches in length and 2 inches wide, and that is our slide wrap. And we're going to put that with the 5 inches at the top, and we're going to score that at 1/2 inch and just over 3 1/2. So how do we do that? We're going to slide our paper over just a little bit, and instead of just a little bit, if you can see on my scoreboard, there is the 0. That's usually where I put the paper up against. And then there's another little tick mark right there. I'm going to pull it just a slight hair away from the edge of the scoreboard and hold it down. And then instead of scoring at 3 1/2, we're going to score at 1 line or an 1/8 past 3 1/2. So let's do that again. I scoot the paper over just a hair, and instead of 3 1/2, we're going to go 1 tick mark beyond that and score again. Okay. So when I shove the paper up against the edge of my scoreboard, the score line is actually in between the 3 1/2 and the 3 5/8 mark. Okay. Don't worry if that's difficult for you. We can always fudge it around the paper later on. Okay, the next piece is our H piece. This is our pen holder. German. That measures 3 inches by 1, and with the 3 inches at the top, we're going to score that at 1 inch, and then 2 1/8. So 1 tick mark past the 2 inches. Okay. Next is I. I is going to be placed with the 7 1/2 inches at the top, and we're going to score that right at 3 3/4 of an inch. Just like that. Okay, and lastly, for the cardstock is our J piece. This is the matchbook hinge, and we're going to put that with our 1 inch at the top, and we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. So this is a hinge. Okay, and then lastly, what we're going to do is I have 4 sheets of copy paper that measures 8 1/2 inches. I want to cut that down for a 1/2 inch off of it. And let me go ahead and just do that. And then I'm going to fold that in half with the 8 inches at the top. I'm going to burnish that down. Okay. All right, we're going to set our scoreboard aside, and now we're going to go ahead and burnish all of these score lines. I'm going to start with my A piece, and that is the right hand side of my album. I have my 3/4 inch at the left hand side, and I am going to place glue on that piece right there. And then I'm going to take my B piece, and with one of the 3/4 inch sides, so it's both the same measurement on either end, we're going to go ahead and align the bottom and the top. And then we're going to make sure that the page does not go over the score line, but it's just put up right against that little mountain. Burnish that down. Okay, now you have the skeleton of your book here, your folio. Then we're going to take our 2 C pieces, and those are our pockets. And we're going to go ahead and trim out the corners here. So we're just going to cut those out. We're going to fold in the sides, place a little glue there, and go ahead and fold up the bottom. Give it another burnish. Same thing here, fold in the sides, put a glue on the bottom of those flaps, and fold up the bottom. Okay. Now those pockets are going to fit right here inside. So we're going to go ahead and glue those down. Centering them in the page. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get our H piece, and that is our pencil holder where we burnished or we scored anyway at 1 inch and 2 1/8. I use my bone folder to go ahead and round out the middle section of that, and then we're going to place glue on the outer flaps of that piece, and then we want to go ahead and stick that down right over the center, and just make sure in this case that you do want to align those score marks. So what you should end up with is a little piece that is sticking up from your folio base. If you can see that, you have that little arc so that you can nicely fit a pencil in there, just like that. Okay. And as far as the measurement, you can see I just eyeballed it, but from the top, it's about, just place it about 1 1/4 inches down from the top. Okay. All right. Our next piece we're going to grab is our I piece and our J piece. So for the J piece, that's one side of the hinge. We're going to go ahead and place glue. And then we're going to take our I piece, and the folded side is going to be matched up with the folded side of the hinge. So just make sure to butt that right up against there and burnish that down. Okay. And now that hinge is going to get glued on the opposite side. And we're going to go ahead and put that folded edge again of the hinge on the right hand side, of that 3/8 inch gusset that you have. So align the bottom and the top and make sure that your folded edge is not on top of the score line. Stay away from that score line just by about 1/8 of an inch. But first we want to get our copy paper, and what we want to do is we folded that in half. The folded edge I want to tuck into that piece on the right hand side, and I'm going to go ahead and just eyeball it top to bottom. I'm going to hold on to this, and then I'm going to take my tiny attacher and I'm just going to give it 2 quick little staples. That's it. Want to be able to tuck this underneath like a matchbook, just like that. Apparently I am missing a page. Let's see. So you need a 4th piece. Cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that real quick. 6.5 inches by 9. You're going to stick that in your scoreboard, and on the 9-inch side, you're going to score in half at 4.5. Yep. Okay. So now on the left-hand side, I'm going to add that to my list as, let's see, where's my pencil? As K, and that measures 9 by 6.5. Okay, I'm going to call this the double page. So on the left-hand side, what we're doing is this page right here. Once you open up the belly band from it, so let me show you how it was. So there's the slide mechanism. This opens up, and then we have the flaps here. Okay, so we're going to put this on. Okay, so close your page like this, and you want to pull this back towards the left. We're going to place glue on this flap. And then with our K piece, we're gonna go ahead and put the folded side on top of that glued flap. And just make sure you align the edge. This is the important part. The outside edge here on the left, you want to make sure that your page is not, your two pages, your double pages are not going over the edge. Okay, that it's flat. That it's flush, I should say. Burnish that down so that this will open up like so. And opens like so. Did I forget something else, Nicole? Nope. Okay. All right. So the next pieces. The next pieces are going to be your F and your G. So we're going to start with the G piece. Okay, so the D piece is going to go here. We're going to go ahead and glue both of those flaps, and then we're going to put this right in the center of the right hand page in a closed position so that you have your belly band right in the center. Okay, so the E piece is going to, you're going to open this flap. You should be able to see your B piece. Place glue on that, and then you're going to put this belly band down just like so in the middle. So you have the two flaps, 1, 2, open, and place that down. Okay. Put the two flaps back. Close this up. You want to align your F piece with the E, and then make sure you put your score mark to the right hand side of this page and wrap it around. Just hold it like that and open it up. And then I'm going to place glue right there. I'm holding this in place. I'm going to place glue on the back side of my flap and glue that down. The reason I did it that way is so that they align here. Okay, and then lastly is your G piece. It measures 5 inches in, 5 inches in length. So not 5.5, 5 inches. By 2 inches in width. And what we're going to do is wrap this around this like so. But you do not want to wrap it tightly, because if you want to put decorative paper, you want to make sure that there is space. So I wrap it around first. Make sure that I've given it a little bit of a burnish, just finger burnish. and then I want to use that as a guide. Nobody's gonna see this, but use that location as a guide. And then I'm just gonna go 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 inch wider. Okay, that's gonna give me a little bit of a rounded side. By doing that, you'll give a little bit of flexibility in here so that it slides a lot easier. And we're going to do the same thing on this first score mark. So you're going to score it where the fold was, and then go on either side of that 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch closer to the outside or the ends of this piece of paper. And that way when you bend these, you should end up with a more rounded side, and it gives it a little bit of depth there. So I'm just going to work this paper to all those score marks. If you can see, it gives it a little bit of a rounded look. Let me put this aside. See that? It gives it a little bit of a rounded look. So with that, we're going to go ahead and place this back down underneath. Wrap this around, and then we're going to glue this down, but make sure you don't do it tightly. I'm going to just place some glue right here and place some glue right there. And that's it. Give it a good little press. And now you have your sliding closure. So you slide it to one side, it's able to open up, you put it back, and put it together. And just like that, you have your little folio. Now don't forget with what we want to do here, if you want to add your seam binding, to go ahead and add your seam binding. And on the back side. Okay, for your little closure. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will go ahead and show this little mini folio number 2 all decorated with a Country Craft Creations paper collection, and I hope to see some pictures soon of your projects, and thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hello everyone, I want to do the little walkthrough of this mini folio number 2 that I've created here with the FurEver Fríends collection from Country Craft Creations. And this is the 8x8 paper collection, and I have used also a charcoal color My Colors cardstock and Bon Bon color sugar-coated doodlebug paper, also available at Country Craft Creations. The cardstock that I use for the base is just from my stash, and then I also use some seam binding, all of those available at countrycraftcreations.com. So this measures 4 3/4 inches by 6.5 inches, and the spine is 3/4 of an inch. And then you have the other side of the folio here. And just to tattletale on myself, I decorated this up as if it was the front of the folio, but guess what? I had a boo-boo. So that was actually the back side because we have the pen holder in here and I had it upside down. So this became the front, and same thing, I layered up with some of that sugar-coated paper, the Bon color, and then I also did some layering with gold Artisan Cardstock, which I've used throughout this folio. So let me go ahead and open this up. And then you're going to see on the left-hand side is this slide closure. You have your belly band on the right-hand side here. And so let me show that. There's the belly band. And then these frames, I went ahead and popped up on just a little piece of chipboard. Of course, we have the pen that holder that's in the center here. And then let's just do a walkthrough. I'll start with the left-hand side. So we have this slide closure. And then once you open that up, you're going to have a place for a photograph or journaling. And this opens this way first. I use the gold Artisan in here for these spaces that could be either journaling or photo mats. And then that closes simply like that. And then this will open up this way. And I've decorated this with some of the beautiful paper and ephemera pieces out of the collection. And then these are some of the cut aparts here that just go down into this little pocket. And then that is the left-hand side. So then on the right-hand side, besides this belly band here, we're going to open it up. And I did some layering of some of the other cut aparts in the collection. And then again, with this other pocket, here are some of the cut aparts. And then this is off of one of the pages of the paper collection. And I just put that on some of that gold Artisan cardstock for another photo mat or journaling spot. And then on this right-hand side, this is the actual matchbook piece that I show how to make in the tutorial. So this will open up just like so, and you have more space for journaling or for photographs with that gold Artisan. And then this is the copy paper that I show you. We go ahead and staple that in, and this can either be torn out or just left in and used for notes. And isn't that beautiful paper right there? So this is very simple to make, and it was very fun to make with this paper collection. So I hope to see some of your projects soon, and if you would, let me know in the comments below if you are enjoying this mini folio series. And I'm trying to do a dual walkthrough of my little folios that I've been making so that you can see how they're put together with different paper collections, such as this number 2 that I made with the Hocus Pocus paper. So I've made it in the horizontal format here, and I did a walkthrough in my last video of that one. But super fun to make. These are very quick projects, good for gift giving, and I intend to use them at an upcoming craft fair. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you back here soon. And until next time, everyone, happy crafting, you all. Bye.